time, but I'll try to make it last as much as possible. Hello friends, I think 15, 16 years back I was sitting on some of these podiums listening to great speakers, and it's nice to be back to the college ecosystem. I started my journey in Bangalore, where I completed my education from RV College, Bangalore. I've been one of the brightest student of the university and was placed directly into Oracle, so went to San Francisco and came back after realizing this is not the life I'm looking for. So started building startups, and now at the sixth startup. All my startups so far have been successful. We have done millions of dollars. Every startup did what we could. But then at the end of the day, we realized this is not what we are looking at. What we are looking at is solving some grassroots problems. And that's where Omni was born. It was born 12, 13 years back, but we kept implementing, we kept finding solution as to how you solve the problem at a scale. So technology was something where we were looking at what technology can solve the problem, wherein the partners, the ecosystem, the stakeholders, everyone gets the benefit out of it. So that's where we started with blockchain as the native technology. We built a lot of solution for Government of India in blockchain. From what you can see, the land tokenization which is happening right now, the land digitization effort, or you can see the billing of electricity meters in some states are already on blockchain. So we have been building solution on these. So as a technology, blockchain has been very powerful and helpful to build. I know a lot of you might have not heard of it, what blockchain is all about, and maybe it's a new word or new term. I'll give you just a brief as to what blockchain is and then how Gomini is using it. You might have seen your father and mother or maybe your grandfather writing a ledger, Bahi Khata, what we call them, is on a yellow book. They write all the ledger, and at the end of the year they close the book with the net profit and net loss, right? And in the beginning of the year, generally in our culture, back in North India, it happens during the Diwali time that we renew our books. So that's a centralized ledger what a parent or a family owns, and that's where they write their own system, right? The same thing translated into digital world is called a blockchain. It's a ledger of entries, right? The same thing happened with the Bahi Khata, that no entry was removed from the system. It was a one-way entry, and it has to be certain. So our parents took very good care of that system, and they used to do a weekly reconciliation. That weekly they used to write. Now that is storage. If you use efficiently in the economic system, you need ample storage and you need security to store it, and that's where blockchain came into, that distribute this particular Bahi Khata into different parts of the world so that it is secure and it is immutable. And that's what blockchain is all about, that you are distributing the ledger to the hundreds of stakeholders all around the world, and your ledger is actually immutable. And that's what we are using is, from a particular cow or from a particular farm, what is the yield you are getting? That goes into that ledger. So let's say my cow gives 10 liters of milk every day. That comes from IoT devices to the blockchain layer, and that gets recorded. Now what we do here is community-based agriculture or dairy. There are many stakeholders, okay? And what we do here through this ledger, we have smart contracts which executes in itself. So let's say if I have 1,000 liters of milk per day, the stakeholders like the farmer and the cow owner, the basic dairy owner, the other stakeholder in the system, they have a revenue contract or the smart contract which distributes the money without a person, the middleman in the system. So the IoT device gives the signal to the Oracle, and it directly translates that into how much money I need to pay to XYZ. So the entire system has become transparent. The ledger is immutable, so nobody can watch the system. And then when it comes to IoT devices, we are looking at sensors deployed at various levels. Like I have a finger ring here. I don't wear ornaments, but this is a health monitoring system. Similarly, my watch is a health monitoring system. Similarly, we have an IoT device for the cows which monitor their health and predicts whether the cow are getting sick, whether they are ready to mate, basically. So through those IoT devices, we invented a lot of them that they can be put in their collar, they can be put in their ear, they can be put in their legs. And with those devices, we predict their health, what is the future coming up, whether they're getting sick, they're getting the right feed, they're sitting properly, they're drinking properly. All those patterns are now being analyzed by artificial intelligence. So when you see a lot of technology here, don't get confused, they're all integrated. Artificial intelligence is nothing but, finding patterns, finding something from the gold mine of data, which can predict something. So if there is a pattern, you can predict. So if I'm walking like one step at a time, 1 feet at a time, so I can predict if I'm, walking 1,000 feet, it is 1,000 steps, likewise, or vice versa. So similarly, the artificial intelligence is used for effectively predicting the system or the outcome, not just from the entity we are managing, but also on the weather data. This year we had a tremendous rainfall, we had a loss in the system, right? Had we predicted this 6 months back or 4 months back that the weather pattern are changing or there are signals coming from MIT and other places, we could predict these losses, right? We could do early harvesting, or maybe we could mitigate during certain things, or we could do a multi-cropping or something. So that's where these technologies are playing a lot of sense, or they are adding to what farmer is doing at the ground. Not necessarily everyone has to do it. It's the organizational level, somebody has to do it. At a cluster level, somebody has to do it, which can benefit the entire society as a whole. And we are very happy we found Dodappaji to take this initiative in this particular reason, to adapt to this technology and become our partner. So we are implementing this here as a cluster level, which can benefit a lot of farmers. They can see the value into the system, and they can take help from there, the kind of farming enhancements we do, the kind of things we do. So I think I'll pause here and I'll take questions. Yeah. We'll wait for any questions if there are.
Anybody would like to ask any question to the sir?